This chapter is about to get scuffed really fast. This is Rena POV for sure. It's gonna be white text and I kill myself. God fucking damn it.
So, that's it.
Oh, we're back to the present.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. Ow. Sorry. Rena finished making her confession, and there was no applause or curtain call. It was a quiet and lonely stage that Rena performed on alone. I think I'd forgotten to blink since her confession started. Everybody else seemed to be feeling the same way.
That's a good cut point. That little, for me at least, that's a good cut point. I can keep reading.
Okay.
For like an episode stop.
Oh, okay. No, that's
a note to the editor.
Yeah, note to the editor, aka 2024 Tyler. When you cut as well, if you can put like a 5% opacity, the video of the Gorp dog in the background.
Why would I do that?
But on like 5% opacity, so no one can like see it except for me, but I'll know it's there. And then like at 3% volume, you can just Gorp. It'd be funny.
This is why you don't edit.
Rena looked at us like she was a teacher waiting for questions from her students. We noticed that she was imitating what Chie-sensei does at the end of the class, and we all smiled bitterly.
I went to Yagoichi earlier to find Yagochi to find a place to bury these bags. It was hard to pick a place because I wanted to make sure that nobody would ever find them. I even thought about burying them in my backyard because it might be the safest. But after I thought about it, I knew that wouldn't work. My father might start planting vegetables one day and he might find them, so it's better that I bury them somewhere in the mountains. Plus, I don't ever want to let her near my father, even though she's dead.
Could you imagine being like Rena's dad and like finally getting over the tragedy of like your sudden divorce and then the tragedy of the sudden grooming of you by this like piece of shit girl trying to badger game you, and then you hit something squishy trying to dig a vegetable garden and like a foul odor shows up, and then you find the woman that was grooming you dead in your backyard?
That'd be pretty crazy.
At what point do you kill yourself? Is it then?
Don't kill yourself. That's bad. You shouldn't encourage people to kill themselves. I don't know why you keep saying that kind of stuff. I couldn't hold it.
Don't talk to me, man. Done recording this with you. Fucking done. I'm over. I go home. Get out of here. I felt like I did something very bad. That's Tyler POV right now. Rena's plan was going smoothly. If I'd only hunted for the mahjong tiles instead of insisting on doing something else, this wouldn't have happened. When I looked at the others, they all seemed to be regretting their actions too. If Mion hadn't come up with the idea to play at the garbage dump, if Sadako hadn't found the broken refrigerator, if Rika-chan had convinced us not to go, Rena could have had a few more days and she could have gotten rid of these trash bags. They never would have been found. Then what would have happened next? Nothing. Everything would have remained the same. We could have kept having happy and peaceful days. Rena had been through a hard time, but she'd been forcing her face into a smile for us. The fake smile was supposed to become a real smile one day. None of us were supposed to notice that Rena was going through a hard time. After a while, Rena was supposed to be able to forget the bitter memory of killing these two, and she was supposed to live as if nothing ever happened. But now, all of her effort, all of her courage, had been ruined.
I know killing people is a bad thing to do. I didn't want to do this, and I didn't want to do it again in the future. But I believe this was the best solution, and I also believe I didn't do anything wrong. I just applied my utmost effort when God presented me with an equal opportunity to regain my happy and peaceful life, saying we should accept suffering and live an immaterial life without desires is nothing more than pretty words from those who have plenty. Nobody can belittle my efforts. Rather, they should praise me for what I did. They should celebrate for me. Rina Ryugu fought for her own fate, and she won.
Keiichi, man. I don't know why I did it, but I interrupted her. I shouldn't have. But I thought I needed to tell her this, so I did. God damn it, Keiichi.
Just fucking read, chill.
What?
You're nothing.
I'm immersed. Don't fucking Watanagashi me in this chapter, I swear to God. I'm fucking immersed, man.
I'm used to reading.
But Rena, why didn't you tell us?
What do you mean?
We're friends, aren't we? Friends always on your side without exception, no matter what. I thought friends were like family. If you told us about it, we could have helped you. Then you wouldn't have had to get your hands dirty.
You know what he means by help you, not
Yeah,
the killing part, right?
Yeah,
not the dismembering the body, right?
I'm aware, but I thought it was funny. I prefer the reality where Keiichi was like, yeah, we would have helped you kill these people, than the reality where Keiichi was like, oh, we could have used Mion's influence or whatever. The other one's way funnier. What Rina told us made me sad. I couldn't help myself from saying that to her. Rina told us straight that she did the best she could. She told us that right to our faces. That's the same thing as saying that she didn't need us in order to do the best that she could. Kei-chan, you could say that now, but... wait, let me finish. I believe that friends are there to share both happiness and hardship. If you came to talk to us, I believe we could have done something different, and we could have led you to a better future.
A better future? There's no better future than what I have right now. This is the best possible future.
That's a lie. My shout seemed to scare her a little.
Wow.
I knew
the roles reversed.
Roles reversed. I knew that Rina didn't believe that this was the best possible future. She just didn't have any other choice. If she had other choices, she definitely wouldn't have chosen this one. I know you don't believe that because you're crying.
What? Who's crying? Me? I'm not crying.
Yes, you are. You've been crying the whole time. Haven't you noticed? In fact, I didn't see any tears in her eyes, or on her face at all. But that didn't mean she wasn't crying. Rena was crying. She was crying because she was driven into a corner after all the hard work she did to become happy. Her tears looked so sad. Anyone who couldn't see those tears wasn't really thinking about her.
I'm not crying. I won't cry. I did the right thing. I made the right choice. There's no reason for me to cry. That's ridiculous. I have no idea what you're talking about, Keiichi.
Dude, everyone is schizomaxing this chapter.
Schizomaxing my ass. This is a good scene.
I know it. You're crying right now. Irina stopped laughing all of a sudden, and she spoke with a cold expression on her face.
Okay, let's say I did what you just told me. I told you all about my father and that woman. Then what?
Well,
Then what?
Irina had never talked to me like this before. It was as if she was mocking my ignorance, and that made me shut my mouth.
You don't know what happened last year.
Last year?
Yeah, last year. It happened in June of 1982. There was someone who had no choice but to kill a person to free himself from his misfortune.
Sadako gasped.
Keiichi-kun. I don't think you know much about him. About Satoshi Hojo-kun.
Satoshi lore drop? I know that he's Sadako's older brother. He had been missing, but people say he transferred. There's a rumor that he killed his aunt for Sadako's sake. Therefore, it's been taboo to talk about Satoshi in my class, actually, in all of Hinamizawa.
Satoshi-kun was under the same conditions as I was. He was just as happy. He just wanted to have a happy, peaceful days. He just wanted to live peacefully and quietly with his sister. You've heard of what kind of person Sadako-chan's aunt was, haven't you?
If what I've heard is true, this is what happened. After Sadako lost her parents, her uncle and aunt got custody of her and her brother, but they were miserable people. Her aunt was especially cruel to Sadako. Satoshi was the kind of guy who wouldn't even hurt a fly, but his aunt probably was the only one whom he didn't have a problem killing. That's how terrible of a person she was.
Everybody in Hinamizawa knew about the trouble the Hojo family had. Everybody knew that their aunt was a hysterical and crazy person, and that she bullied Satoshi-kun and Sadako-chan. Everybody knew everything. Everybody in our class knew it too. Mi-chan, the future head of the three families, knew it. Rika-chan knew it. And Sadako-chan knew it too, of course, because she was the one experiencing it. The friends you talked about knew what Satoshi-kun was going through more than anybody in Hinamizawa. And what happened? Did anybody help Satoshi-kun? No, nobody did. Mi-chan had the most influence out of all of us, but she made up a lame excuse, saying that it might create a conflict between the Sonozaki family and the villagers. In the end, all she did was hurt him by offering her sympathy.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Satoshi-kun knew it too. He knew that you were only pretending to sympathize with him. He knew that you had no intention of helping him. That's why Satoshi-kun started to hate you, Mi-chan. He said that you always told him you were his friend, but after all that, you turned out to be just another Sonozaki. Just another person who bullied the Hojo family.
Partially because of Shion. Partially. I didn't mean to.
You didn't do anything to help him. You rejected his request for help by sympathizing with him. Do you have any idea how much that hurt?
And Mion tried to find something to say, but failed to do so. She bit her lip instead.
Rika-chan, you're the same too.
And now Rena was pointing fingers at Rika-chan. Unlike Mion, Rika-chan looked emotionless and empty, just like Rena did.
Rika-chan, you don't have the kind of power in Hinamizawa that Mi-chan does. But your word carries a lot of weight with the old people who come to your shrine, don't they? There was something you could have done for him, but you didn't. Rika-chan, you did exactly the same thing as Mi-chan did. You just pretended to be his friend. All you did was sympathize with him and Sadako-chan. You didn't try to help them out of the trouble they were in. Can you imagine how cruel and merciless your sympathy was to them? Satoshi-kun wanted help. He wanted somebody to help him. He was at a dead end and couldn't get out of there by himself. He was sinking all the way down to his neck in a swamp, reaching for help and waiting for someone to grab his hand. You're right.
Uh-oh. Rika-chan's voice sounded mature. It was very different from how she usually sounded.
I didn't know how to save them. All I could do was offer them some consolation. I'm not going to deny it, nor am I going to make excuses for my sin. Of not trying hard enough to find a way to save them. I didn't know you knew.
Rena gave her a twisted smile. That ugliness caused me to look away.
And Sadako-chan, I don't know if you'll believe me when I say this, but you're weighed down with sin too.
I didn't understand why she was blaming Sadako. I tried to take her side, but I gasped in surprise when I looked at her. She looked like she was accepting the sin that Rena had mentioned. Sadako must have wanted to confess her sin before Rena pointed it out to her. And so, Sadako opened her mouth first. Oh, Sadako. I don't know if you'll believe me when I tell you this either, but I realized it on my own. I know what my sin is.
I see.
I realized it on the night Nini disappeared. I wish I'd realized it when he was still there.
I understand how you feel. The sense that it was too late for regrets, right? I feel the same way. It happened to me before. That's why I fought this time. Sadako-chan, I'm sure you can atone for your guilt in the future. Because you realize what you did.
Yeah, but that won't bring Nini back. He's not coming back. Sadako looked down sadly. Usually Sadako would say the opposite. She always said that Satoshi was coming back one day without a doubt. But now, she accepted the fact that he would never return. She accepted it easily, as if she knew it already, because he's her brother.
Do you understand now?
She asked me all of a sudden.
That's how they were in 1982. Satoshi-kun talked to everybody he thought could help him. He told them that he needed help. He told them what he was going through. He consulted with them. He even came to me, even though I had just moved here at the time. I don't think it was embarrassing or shameful that he did that. People get desperate when they're unhappy. Satoshi-kun tried very hard, but he couldn't do anything about the situation, and he asked for help. He kept asking for help. You said that friends are always on your side no matter what, but this is what friends really are. They're actually just people you hang around with for fun. They don't actually help you when you need them. Friends are always like that. That's why I decided not to tell anybody when I found out I was in the same situation as Satoshi-kun. I knew that nobody would help me and that nobody could. I didn't need sympathy. It only makes me feel worse. It's better that I, at least, had fun at school. In fact, I did have fun at school. I was very happy. I was able to forget about the trouble I had with that woman, even if only for a short amount of time at school. I wish Satoshi-kun could have done that too. If he did, he wouldn't have to feel so constantly hopeless. He could have at least enjoyed his time at school. He didn't have any other choice than being his aunt to death anyway. I don't know how to help him at that. I didn't know how to help him at that time because I had just moved here. All I could do was listen to him and try to make him feel better. But there might have been something more I could have done. I might have been lazy in thinking about what I could do. But at that time, in 1982, I thought I was his friend. Got a CG. The first CG.
Oh, Ryukishi. Not expecting that. Rita's self-derisive laughter changed into grievous sobs. Grievous wounds. Her tears gradually wore away in a relationship of trust. See, Keiichi was right. She was crying. The whole time.
He was crying. She was.
Nobody will help me. Friends are just people whom you have fun with. You can't trust them. The more Rina cried, the clearer we heard her voice in her heart. Mion, Sadako, and Rika-chan looked into the distance with sad expressions on their faces. I was the only one who could say anything back to her now. I had to tell her this, and she knew it too. She just needed to hear it from someone.
Come on, magician of words, you can do this.
Oh, Keiichi. I braced myself to tell her something that might hurt everybody. Oh, Keiichi. I understand, Rina. I understand what happened in 1982. I understand that they were heartless. But Sadako also told you this. They realized their sins. They regretted what they did and didn't do. So it should be different this time. They can understand your pain, and they can help you.
You weren't there last year. I'm afraid you don't know what you're talking about.
That's right. I wasn't here last year. I wish I were. If I was here last year, I would have fought for Satoshi.
You're lying.
That's not bullshit Keiichi would have. I'm not lying. I've learned how important friends are since I moved to Hinamizawa. I'll fight for my friends. If I was here last year and knew what Sadako's aunt did to her and Satoshi, I wouldn't have given Satoshi the opportunity to beat her to death. I would have done it myself. I would have done it in 1,500 seconds. 1,500 seconds. Thank you. I wouldn't have even hesitated. I would have beaten her to death with a metal bat. He did that to Tepe.
That's easy for you to say, but you don't know what the kind of determination you need to kill another person.
I don't know that, and I don't need to know that either. You know why? Because it's an obligation to help your friends.
You don't understand, Keiji-kun. You don't know how disgusting it is to kill a person. You can never get rid of the dirt on your hands, no matter how hard you try to justify it.
Keiji's such a ride or die motherfucker. I love him. You're right. Killing a person in order to save your friends is such a short-sighted way of thinking. It might sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I think things aren't meant to go well when you take care of an evil matter by doing an evil deed. I'm proud of my conviction that I wouldn't hesitate to kill a person for the sake of my friends. But the peace I get by doing an evil deed won't last forever. We all know that by instinct. That's why we all despise evil things, I think.
What? I have no idea what you're talking about.
She didn't have to tell me that. I was aware I wasn't making any sense. But, for some reason, I could easily imagine a world like that. A world in which I saved my precious friends by committing an evil act. The peace I seized by doing that evil deed didn't last long. It got worse. It ended in a way as terrible as the sin I committed. To Higurashi? This was a memory that shouldn't exist. I don't know why, but I know for a fact that it happened in that world of possibility. Are we crossing timelines in this game? I don't like this.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
What? For some weird reason, I couldn't prevent myself from smiling in embarrassment, even in a situation like this. But you know it too, don't you, Rina? You know that you didn't want to get your hands dirty. You're crying because you wanted us to help you, but we didn't. You didn't want to be a murderer. You're lying when you claim that this was the best choice you could have made. That's why you've been crying.
That's not true! That's not true, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true!
Keiichi's so based. You know better than anybody if it's true or not. You've been regretting this from the beginning. Even if you were able to hide the corpses without getting caught, you could never have washed the blood off your hands. How are you going to fool yourself into believing that you won't have to live the rest of your life bearing the burden of your sin? There's only one way to do that. You have to believe that this was the only choice. That means you have to live your life denying your friends and denying that your friends are worth asking for help. Are we worth nothing to you, Rina? Of course not. You always believed that friends exist to help each other. Your friends were immature last year. That's why they couldn't help Satoshi from his unfortunate fate. But people grow up. We don't make the same mistakes twice. We don't want to regret the same thing twice. So believe me, we're your friends. We're on your side.
So what you're saying is that I was immature too, right?
Yeah, I am. You were immature because you couldn't believe that your friends grew up. But I'm not going to blame you for that. We didn't notice until today that you had been going through such a hard time all alone. People can communicate their feelings only by talking to others. So there was nothing we could do because we didn't talk. In that sense, it's hard to say it, but we have to admit that this was meant to happen today in order to make your choice the best one for real. We finally talked about our feelings. We now know that you've been distrusting your friends since last year, and that everybody regretted both what they did and didn't do. So now, we've finally become true friends.
Finally, but it's too late. We only notice our sins after it's too late.
That's not necessarily true. For example, as your friend, I can understand the things you've done, this time.
What do you mean by that?
I understand that depriving people of their lives is an unforgivable crime, but I also understand that my friend Rina had no other choice but to do this. So I don't think you're filthy, and I'm not scared of you. If something like this happens again, we should talk and think about what we can do together. But this already happened, and I understand that. But when I say I understand, I mean, I forgive you. I don't hate you for what you did. I said that to everybody this time. I said it to all of my friends. I accept what Rena did. I accept that she had no other choice than to do this, and that this was her last resort after thinking it through many times. So, I'm going to side with her. Fucking base Keiichi, man. He's so good. He's such a lad. Keiichi is a Brexit geezer, dude.
He's
Such a fucking boy.
What does that mean?
He's just, you know how every, like, pub owner is just, like, rotund and friendly looking?
Uh-huh.
And, like, a Brexit geezer, you know?
Sure.
That's Keiichi, man. He loves his friends. He could watch Mion rip a man in half hot dog style and go, I understand. I accept you for that. And give her a hug. He's so based.
Love Hinamizawa, love friends.
Love Hinamizawa, love friends, be horny.
No. Oh, fuck. I'm trying. It's the love Hinamizawa, love friends, hate X, simple as.
Oh.
What would it
Love
be?
Hinamizawa, love friends, hate Oyashiro-sama, simple as.
Simple as.
Kei-chan. Of course, if she killed them for money or some other stupid reason, I'd drag her to the police. But that wasn't why Rena did this. She couldn't run away, and she thought it through before she came to this point. If she's guilty of anything, she's only guilty for not talking to us about it beforehand. But I forgive her for that too. I forgive her for coming to this point.
Keiichi.
So, I beg you all, please forgive me for not noticing Rena's situation and for letting her go through it alone. My sin is that I allowed a day like today to come to pass. Keiichi-san. We're the only one that knows about these bags. If we keep it to ourselves, everything will be fine. Rena doesn't have to worry about a thing. Let's hide them somewhere like she planned. We'll cleanse ourselves with salt later, and that's it. Let's forgive each other for our sins, and then we'll regain our happy and peaceful days. This is it, right? Rena, this is the future you chose, right? This is the best possible choice, right?
Keiichi-kun.
I jumped on the hood of the abandoned car Rena was standing on, and I reached for her hands. Admit it. This is the world you wanted. This is the choice you wanted to make. But this is something that you cannot choose by yourself. All of us have to reach for each other's hands so that Rena can make the choice. In other words, I can't make it happen by myself. I need everybody to reach for each other's hands. So Rena, you need to do it too. When all of us hold hands together, that's when you can go to the world that exists beyond the choice you made.
Keiichi-kun, I appreciate it if you really mean it, but I'm not sure that's what everybody else wants.
A little hand touched mine. It was Rika-chan. Rika-chan!
Rena, you aren't filthy. You didn't give up. You seized your fate, even though you had the dirtier hands to do it. I have no reason not to accept you.
I'm just realizing it's literally turning into the Hinamizawa Body Dismemberment Club. like it's not a joke. Like that wasn't a meme.
It wasn't a
Like,
meme.
that
It wasn't a
that
joke.
wasn't a bit.
It was just
Oh
a production.
my god. I love Hinamizawa, man. Oh fuck.
You didn't
My
read
bad.
the
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Rika-chan's small hand was strong, and she spoke eloquently.
I know how comfortable it feels to be stained by disappointment at everything in this world after getting lost in a maze of misfortune. That's why I can understand how strong you are and how hard you fought alone without giving up. I'm proud of having you in my life. I agree with Keiichi. I forgive you for your sin. So please, forgive me for mine, too. Keiichi.
Oh, Rika-chan.
I don't know. I'm just a little girl without any power, but I could have fought. I'll not give up on my fate. I'll fight like you did. So I ask you to accept me as your friend.
Rika-chan usually acts childish, but now she was like a totally different person. She meant every word she was saying. And then, another little hand reached out to ours. Sadako. Sadako put her hand over mine and Rika-chan's. She didn't say anything, looking down for a while. Rika-chan urged her to speak. Rika and I lost both our parents. We never cried about it, however, because we have you, a family made out of friends. I want us to continue to be a family for you. It's natural to get it all out and to confess everything to your family because, well, they are your family. So I think today was a great opportunity for us. I appreciate that we had the chance to forgive each other for our sins. A family made of friends. Sadako, I like that. It's so goofy, man.
Her little smile.
I forgive you for your sins, Renasan. Please forgive me for mine, too. Oh, based, I didn't think Mion was gonna do it. A big hand reached out for ours. It was Mion's. I always thought it was my job as the leader of this club to talk about the importance of friends. So I guess I'm not that good of a leader after all, huh? Mion. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of you. Mion still smiled and scratched her head. Rena, I'm ashamed of myself as your friend, and as the club president, for not being able to notice what you've been going through. I'd like you to forgive me for that. Of course, I also forgive you for not telling us about it. You couldn't tell me because I wasn't good enough for you. I thought I was trying to be a good leader for you, but I guess I wasn't doing my job. It's my fault, so I forgive you for your sin, Rena. Rena! Now you have all of our hands. We're all ready for you. It's your turn. Reach out for us. Come to us. This is the world you wanted. You have all of our hands right here for you to reach. So don't hesitate.
I'm a murderer. I'll get you guys into trouble.
Rena, we are...
No, oh, Rena, we are...
Rika-chan, you don't need to say anything. We're all reaching for your hand. What else do we need to say or prove? Rena, you don't need to say anything. All you need to do is reach out for us. Come on, Rena. This is real. It's not too late. You still have choices you can make. So choose. You can still make it. Come on. It's not too late to start over again. Rena slowly reached out, and her hand touched ours. She didn't hold our hands. All she needed to do was to touch her. All she needed to do was to touch our hands to show us her will. Rena chose to live, to share her life with her friends, rather than to refuse them for the rest of her life. I took a step closer to her and firmly grabbed her wrist. It was getting dark, and some stars had started appearing in the sky. We all forgave each other for our sins for the first time. And it was a little embarrassing, but Rena's tears made us all cry, and we just kept crying together. We stood in a circle, holding each other by the shoulder and putting our heads together in the middle. We are a family made of friends. We forgave each other, and we were happy together. There's a memory in the back of my mind, but it's not supposed to exist. I tried to save one of my friends in that world. In order to do that, I rejected all of my other friends. I acted recklessly alone. And I brought about the end of the world. What? The situation we had here is the same as the incident in that faraway world, in the sense that people have been depraved of their lives in order to save one friend of mine. But other than that, it was different. We have Rena, Mion, Sadako, Rika-chan, and myself. Nobody was missing. We were going to regain them. We were going to regain those happy and peaceful days. The road going there might be a little rough, but we'll walk it together. We all will. So are they canon or what, man?
God damn, I love that scene.
I fucking...
Oh, dude.
I have so many questions. I have so many questions.
This is why this is my favorite fucking chapter. Holy shit.
No, I get it. It's just... It's
Oh, I
another...
know. There's some little hints in there about something.
Well, It's another Ryukishi letting Keiichi be the best character in the game chapter.
Mm-hmm. He's a magician of words for a reason.
But it's also irrelevant to the game section where he lets Keiichi be the best character in the game. Like, it is the same of, like, him bitching out Shion, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's actually, like, relevant to what's going on. Except we involve all 5 fucking characters, and it's incredible. Mm-hmm. So the other timelines are canon, question mark?
Question mark, question mark, question mark?
What does he mean? I remember something that shouldn't be there.
He ended the world by trying to save one of his friends and ignoring all the others? What could that possibly mean?
Uh-huh. You mean where he cursed the entire town of Hinamizawa to suffer the great Hinamizawa gas disaster?
Wow. Whoa.
I fucking what?
What does that mean? What does it mean, Connor?
I fucking...
What does it mean?
What? There's aliens in all of their blood. It's not just Rena. They live in a simulation, man. Is this how the game ends? It's a meta reveal that, like, they know they're in a visual novel. They pan back and we see the stage production of fucking Higurashi taking place. Is that how it ends? Is that the end of the game?
No, we're not, like...
Is it the fucking Truman Show?
It's not the Truman Show.
I have so many questions. We went to the place in the mountains of Yagoichi that Rena had picked for burying the bags. Carrying corpses is a scary thing to do, but it made us united more strongly because of that. You notice how this reflects the entirety of the actual dam conflict? Except all the members involved are like best friends and family and not strangers that were bullied into doing it, but they're doing it willingly. Where they all took a different piece and hid it.
Oh.
Of the dismembered body.
You said dam conflict and confused me. You meant like the first...
the dam conflict, the first murder.
Confusing terms here.
The first murder was during the dam conflict. It was the ending of the dam conflict.
Yeah, but that's not what you would say in order to refer to it. You would say like the first year, the Curse of Oyashiro or something like that.
Yeah, but I said the
or
dam conflict.
Dismemberment incident. Or...
I said the dam conflict because you're like, oh, 2 people
you,
got
when
dismembered.
You say the dam
and
conflict, I'm
it
thinking about the
separately.
entire town fighting against the fucking government.
No. You gotta use context clues. Because I was like, isn't this really similar to what happened during the dam conflict?
And I thought, no, because that's not what that... What?
Because he's not using context clues.
Because you use the wrong term.
No.
When you use the wrong term, you confuse people.
James, prove me right in the comments.
James, you know I'm right. No, don't even.
It.
No.
Ratio him.
No rate. I control the ratio. He cannot win this ratio. You cannot win this ratio.
Let him know that you understood what I meant via context clues, and that Tyler's retarded, and we hate him for that.
I'm sorry. I'm just smarter than you. Okay.
I'm never gonna play Siege again. Uninstall.
So you're only hurting yourself at that point.
Shut up, man. Since each part of the corpses is in a separate plastic trash bag, we can tell what's inside each bag by touching it. First, we forced ourselves to laugh whenever we had to touch the bodies, because we were scared. But after a while, we got used to it, to the point where we could make jokes about it. Based. Of course, all of that was probably a bluff, but we all tried our best. Mion somehow had detailed knowledge of how to hide corpses, and she told me to dig the hole deeper.
Lol.
Rika-chan helped to carry the bags. Sadako used her talent of setting traps to perfectly camouflage the place where we buried the bags. Me? Gunkaga. I was in charge of digging the hole. Rena dug it earlier, but I made it a little deeper. After we finished all that, we walked back to the place where we parked our bicycles, and we looked back at the place where we buried the bags. It was completely unnoticeable. We'd never be able to find that place again once we left for home. That's how perfect it looked.
Great! Thank you all for your hard work. We're done here. It's time to go home.
Mion said it cheerfully as if we just finished club activities or something. We had no more bags to carry, and we no longer had any burden to carry either. We got on our bicycles, but Rena was still standing there looking into the distance. Hey, Rena.
What? I'm sorry. I think I caught a cold or something. I feel feverish and dizzy.
Rena's face looked slightly red. Mion touched Rena's forehead. It actually was a little warm. She had a tough day today. She had to go through so many things. She had to find a place to hide the corpses. She had to dig a hole. We caught her with the bags. We talked about our feelings. And we forgave each other. Those last two are the hardest part. She must be exhausted after a day like that. Rena, you should rest well when you get home.
Yeah, thank you. I will.
Rena, we forgave each other for everything. So don't blame yourself anymore, okay?
You were right about me.
What do you mean?
I couldn't fool myself. No matter how hard I tried to justify what I did, I was still scared. Look at me, I'm still shaky, even with all the help I got from you. If you hadn't found me with the corpses, if I'd taken care of this alone, I wouldn't have been able to bear this burden. I'm pretty sure I would have been crushed by the pressure.
Is there text less? No, we're in KGPOV.
Yeah, we're in KGPOV. She said all this with a bitter smile. It might take her a long time to heal from the pain. It's because it's on pink background.
Yeah.
But it must be 100 times shorter than the time it would have taken if she did this alone.
I was thinking about when we're gonna switch back to Reno POV, and then I thought it just switched in my head to like we're in Reno POV.
Rena's home was the closest from here. Rena went her way, and the four of us were left behind. Mion made a suggestion. I'm sorry. The word suggestion came up, and it aligned with the joke I had in my brain. I was gonna say they're the Hinamizawa Club of the Geneva Suggestion. They would commit war crime.
They will.
Fuck.
I think we should just forget about today. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be the best for Renathon, too.
Rena is a strong girl. If we act like nothing happened, she'll act that way too.
If you keep acting for long enough, it becomes real, right?
We'll be able to forget by not talking about it. Our goal is to forget about it completely.
I think we'll keep wondering whether or not the day of reckoning will come for the rest of. I think we'll keep wondering whether or not the day of reckoning will come for the rest of our lives.
True.
Yeah, you're probably correct. It's not gonna be so easy to simply let it go. Even if I can't forget about it for the rest of my life, that's fine by me. The most important thing is to keep it in my heart forever.
The most important thing is that we don't make her think about it.
We nodded in agreement just as my house came into view. Well, this is goodbye. See you at school, just like always.
Just like always.
Yeah, we'll set a perfect trap for you, just like always.
Oh, whoops. Goodbye, Kei-chan.
That first one might have Rika.
That first one was definitely Rika. Oh, fuck. I can't. I want to start doing rehab, but I can't.
After I potted with him, I still felt hot and dizzy. I felt really weird. I was even staring to the front door. I felt as if I was floating in the air, like I just took some very strong cold medicine. Today, something very shocking, something very shocking, something something that made me super happy, and something super very embarrassing happened to me. I felt as if my heart and mind were about to explode because they were filled to the brim with both happiness and sadness. I don't know whether I made a crucial mistake today or if I had the happiest day of my life. I don't know which it is, and all I could do was to stare blankly into space.
Bottom text for sure.
I felt frustrated too, and even though they were my friends, I was caught in the act of abandoning the corpses. But at the same time, I felt relieved that my reliable friends accepted what I did. Those emotions were all mixed up in my heart, and they were equally strong, making it difficult for me to decide what I was feeling. I was losing my sense of balance. It's like the world was warping around me. It sounds as if I was in a shower. Everything left me with a feeling of unreality. Those emotions were about to make me lose control. I felt a heat on my wrist. The part where Keiichi-kun grabbed me earlier started throbbing. My feelings weren't cooperating with me, but the heat of my wrist calmed them down for me. I don't know how to express what I felt when my friends and I held shoulders together in a circle earlier, but the feeling was the only thing I knew to be real. I'm home.
Oh shit, Rin is in this game.
Huh? As soon as I opened the front door, I smelled it. It smelled really good. My father isn't good at cooking, but he likes trying to cook creative dishes. I remember he used to cook something very challenging whenever he was in a good mood, so the smell was a sign that he felt that way. That's why I always liked this smell. The reason he was in a good mood was because he found a job.
Oh, let's go.
And not just any job. He found a job with a company created by friends from his own workplace.
Let's go, Rin is dad.
They remembered my father and promised to hire him. He told me that some of the other colleagues from the old company were also working there. It must be very encouraging for him to work with people he knows because he hasn't worked for a long time.
Let's fucking go, Rin is
The
dad.
dinner looked great and conscious how it tasted. It was a dinner to celebrate his new life and to show his determination to regain his bond with his daughter and to make a clean start. I talked about a lot of things with my father that night. It had been a long time since the last time I talked with him like this. I don't remember when it was, but it reminded me of the days where I was still happy, which meant that I'd finally returned to that time. My father still believes that Teppei is coming back one day, so he'll still be very cautious about locking the doors and windows, and he gets scared every time that someone rings the doorbell. I told him so many times that they'd never come back, but I just couldn't convince him, because I couldn't tell him the reason they don't. He'll eventually realize that he's free. I'm sure it won't take too long. My heart was full of many, many emotions that day. If emotion could actually bust a heart open, it might happen to me. My brain must have been overworked because so many things happened at once. My head was so fuzzy, but I managed to crawl into my bed. I felt like the ground was moving. I totally lost my sense of reality. I remember that I once felt like this when I got the flu. I might get a high fever tomorrow, but I don't care. I don't care if I get sick tomorrow. I just want to enjoy the fact that I took a step towards the future of my decision. Keiichi-kun told me something like that today. The high fever and the dizziness made me feel frustrated for some reason. Whenever I felt frustrated, I felt the heat in my wrist too. I grabbed my wrist with my left hand tightly. It made the frustration go away, and it brought me relief. Even the dizziness I didn't like just before made me feel like I was in a downfilled futon. I was falling asleep in that downfilled futon on my first night in a new world. This dizziness didn't go away for a few days, but I gradually got used to it. This new world looked like the world I used to live in before, but the sunshine was a little bit brighter and Keiichi-kun's smile looked a little bit more gentle than before. We made more noise than we used to. We spent every day slowly, but in high spirits. Oh, what an idiot I am. I underestimated that dizziness, and I caught a summer cold in June. I wanted to get better as soon as possible. I should have taken the day off from club activities, but I forced myself to play with them every day, and that made it hard for me to get better. I finally learned my lesson recently. I don't need to feel frustrated. There's no limit to happiness in this world. As long as we keep wishing for it, it'll continue forever. I don't need to feel frustrated anymore because tomorrow I'll have the same happiness I have today.
I feel like I'm like 1 page away from the game ending. Do you know how frightened I am right now?
We'll have the Watanagashi Festival next Sunday. That was the most genuine. Michan tells us that we'll have a lot of fun. We'll go extra crazy. I really can't wait.
I feel like the game should have just ended there.
Roll credits, yeah?
Like, that's the end of the game.
What could possibly happen?
Higurashi canonically ends for me right here. Full stop.
Notice from the first forestry service.
The furry.
Forestry service. Shut up.
Yeah,
You're crying right now.
Higurashi canonically has just ended. Everything after this is fan canon.
If you say so.
I don't care. The game is over.
It's still June, yet the air is filled with the cries of the cicadas. So got Rena in my voice.
Yeehaw.
How's everyone in Hinamizawa doing? The Watanagashi Festival is coming just around the corner. We staff members from the forestry service are going to perform a wood sculpting demonstration at the festival. We'll be happy to lend out our tools and teach your kids how to sculpt wood themselves. It'll be an excellent memorial gift. Also, we would like to inform everyone that we're going to cut down the trees in the local hills this summer as part of the Number X Forest Landscape Management Project. Yep. This project involves preserving the beauty of the forest by cutting down old trees and planting new ones. The Forestry Service needs volunteers who are interested in helping us cut down the old trees. You can enjoy the beauty of nature under the blue sky while helping out with this preservation activity. The project will begin summer break, so you can bring your kids too. This will be a good opportunity for your kids to learn about nature and have a valuable experience. The locations of the project are the forests in the Takatsudo and Yagochi areas.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
How are they going to track it back to them?
I don't know.
How are they going to trace it back
You
to
think that the forestry service was gonna cut down trees in Higurashi too? Wasn't there a tip in Higurashi like that?
Might have been something about the forestry service, but I don't know if it was about cutting down trees.
Something about the forestry service. I feel like I don't remember.
How are they going to trace it back to them?
They can't.
So they dub.
Yeah.
Dub. Huge.
We did it, boys.
So are all the
did it, right?
timelines canon?
Any thoughts you want to get out there real quick?
It's Groundhog Day. They live in a simulation, man. What do you mean? We're on chapter 6? There's like 10 more, man. What the fuck?
Well,
I hate Higurashi.
we'll let Connor consolidate his thoughts, and
What the fuck?
we'll talk to you again next episode.
Man, fuck Rena.
All right, buddy.